Hi, my name is Chris Yonker, and I'm here to talk to you today about an event we're holding on September 11th, 2019 at the Cumberland Club in Portland, Maine. This event specifically is targeted to CEOs who have become the glue in their own business. And in essence, if you're someone who maybe would like to do a family succession, or someone who's looking to transition out of the business over the next several years and you want to improve the valuation, or maybe you just would like to improve revenue to a new target and haven't been able to do that, most CEOs that are stuck, in essence, have created blind spots. And we're going to talk about these very specific blind spots. And I've invited my colleague Justin Van Epps here today in with me in the studio, and we're going to chat a little bit about this event we're holding. And in essence, Justin is someone that we've been working together for several years now in conjunction. And Justin's worked with small startups to multinationals, has over 25 years of experience of helping companies do just about everything companies do. So welcome, Justin. And you know that one of the things that we've talked about is some of the blind spots that happen with many organizations that either you've worked with or we've worked collectively. Can you think of like one of the top blind spots that we'll discuss in this workshop that we're holding that folks don't typically see when they're too much in the weeds?
Sure. Yeah, so often, CEOs that are running a company, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things happening. And a common blind spot is that oftentimes there's really good ideas that are actually buried inside the organization.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
So the key is how do you find them? How do you identify them? And how do you unlock them? I think that's something that we would absolutely talk about, because I find that most organizations really do have opportunities. It's just a matter of identifying and doing something with that.
What do you think it looks like for that CEO in relationship to why they wouldn't be thinking that or doing that? What's going on in their day-to-day that's causing conflict for that not to occur?
Well, I think one of the primary things is that there's so many things that are pulling at a CEO, right? You got to manage people, you've got the business, you've got customers, you've got partners, all these different aspects of the business that you have to pay attention to and manage, right? It can be really easy to miss something. Yeah. And so I think that's not uncommon for, the other part of it too that happens often is folks can find themselves in a situation where they've got both feet firmly planted in kind of day-to-day fire drills, as opposed to thinking about what's coming down the pike and what they need to get ahead of.
Yeah. So so it's like I'm in a responsive mode, right? Yeah. Right now, this moment, and how far ahead am I really thinking?
Right. Exactly.
And you think if you had a business, let's say it was doing 10 million, 100 million, and we sampled those CEOs, how many of those CEOs do you think are thinking 6 months to 3 years out on a regular?
I'd say a pretty low percentage, honestly. Yeah. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, especially as a smaller company, you're wearing a lot of hats, right? Yeah. And you don't necessarily have as many people or resources that you can employ, right, to figure things out. So, a lot of times it's hard. It's hard to kind of get out of the weeds day to day and take the time necessary to really plan and think about where should we be going? How do we get there? Where do we want to be, right? Yeah. A lot of times people even haven't answered that basic question of, what is my goal? Right.
Yeah. So once I'm able to see can you give me an example or an illustration of what it looks like if someone finds some opportunity within a business that they're missing, and what that can translate to in regards to some autonomy or some additional revenue or an increase in top line and or bottom line?
Yeah. So I think there's. I think a common area is often looking at folks tend to focus on the top line revenue, as opposed to thinking about the actual profitability of the business.
Sure.
Right. And so I think that there's an opportunity to take a look at how can we either reduce our cost, reduce our overhead, rethink our pricing. Yep. Right. All of those things can significantly impact the bottom line. Yeah. Right. And I'll give you an example. There was a company I was working with. It was about a $400 million company. They had a lot of brand name customers, and their top line revenue was quite good. But what we realized is they were actually losing money. And one of the ways that they're losing money is that they had structured their sales compensation based on the top line, not based on the actual profitability of the deal, right? So their sales team was really incentivized to sell deals at a high dollar amount. But when you looked at what it cost them to actually deliver against that, they were losing money.
Right. Yeah. So these are just some of the illustrations that we'll talk about in September 11th. And if you're able to join us, we have limited seating. We are ticketing this event, and we hope you can make it. You can find a link to sign up below.